Self-discipline is defined as the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions to achieve goals or maintain principles even when faced with challenges, distractions, or temptations. I want to talk about self-discipline in this video because I believe I'm a very self-disciplined individual. I go to the gym 5 days a week. I take a walk every single day. I make these videos every single day. Like, I show up on a consistent basis. So clearly I do have self-discipline and I can talk about this in depth. So if that's something that you want to do, awesome. You can stick around. I'm going to touch on a couple of different anime references in this video as well too, because self-discipline is the thing that has gotten me as far as it has in this time that I am living right now. It's helped me read books. It's helped me go to the gym. It's helped me have a healthier diet. It's helped me eat healthier foods. It's helped me maintain better relationships. It's helped me evaluate my life. And I feel like if it's helped me, then it can help you as well too. The thing is you first have to figure out why you want to be self-disciplined in the first place. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? What do you want out of life? Like, where do you want to go? Like, we can look at like Luffy, for example, from One Piece. Like, he has self-discipline because he knows that he wants to become the Pirate King. So he goes out and he tries to do everything that he can to be able to become self-disciplined. This is what you have to do as well too. You have to put everything else aside for your goal. Like right now, I'm recording this video later at night than I typically would. Most nights I would like sit down and I'd be like, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to scroll on my phone or something like that. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to record this video because I want to demonstrate that I have self-discipline. I want to get this video recorded so at least I can maybe be a day or two ahead of the recording schedule. And then if I need to take a little bit of a rest on one day, by all means, I can do that, because it's all about your mentality. It's all about what you want to do for yourself. And if you can't be disciplined in the first place, how do you expect to have anything happen for you in your life? Like Zoro, he trained every single day because he had the self-discipline. We have anybody training every single day because they have self-discipline. And this is something that I've come to realize is nobody anywhere in our entire world can do the work for us. We have to do the work on our own. Like, prime example, I've been delaying making phone calls to reach out to like businesses to ask them different questions because I was just like sitting on my butt trying to like create something out of nothing. And I didn't want to have to do work. I just want to like sit around and just have everything come to me, which it still can through these videos, because like you're watching this, you're gaining value out of it. You're hopefully being inspired to be more self-disciplined yourself. And I wanted just to make that happen, and it is happening. It's just a matter of like reframing how you look at the discipline yourself, because you might be like, I'm not self-disciplined, and it's just like, you are. And the reason why you are is because let's imagine that you can be disciplined enough to sit there and watch TV or watch an anime show all day. That means you have the self-discipline to be able to do that said thing in that said place for a certain duration of time. So you do have the discipline to do that said thing. And it's just a matter of reframing that to look at, it's like, okay, well, if I can sit at home all day and watch anime or watch a movie or just like binge watch playing video games or something along those lines, if you can do that, then you can also be disciplined in other areas as well. You can be like, okay, well, I can sit here and then I can go out on a walk. And you can be like, it's too hard for me to go on a walk. It's just like, do you not walk like out of your house to go to your car? And you could be like, no, I literally just, I don't ever leave the house. I'm a little recluse. I have never seen the sunlight. It's like, okay, like, is that really true? Because I have a feeling that it's not. You do take little walks. So like, you do have the discipline to get up and go take a walk. You have to start small. Too often we want to start big. We want to have these big ambitious goals, which is great. It's fantastic. It's just a matter of then breaking those down into bite-sized pieces. At least that's what's worked for me. Like this channel, I've been posting videos here for about 4 years or so, and I've reached 1 million views, which is incredible. I'd never really had that as a goal. I just like posting these videos. I like sharing these thoughts. I like hopefully inspiring you. And I've always watched anime, so I was like, you know, maybe I can use my anime fascination to be able to share some like other ways so that you can improve your life, because I always wanted videos like this when I was growing up and when I was in college and when I was in high school. Like, I always wanted to have videos like this of somebody being like, hey, you can still enjoy these luxuries that you have as well too, along with being inspired to like have a healthier body. Because when I go to the gym, if you've never been to the gym, highly recommend you start going to the gym. And this can take discipline. I'll give you let me say this first and then I'll touch on that. So when I go to the gym, I see people like with anime shirts on, and I never really thought that people that watched anime went to the gym, because that was a notion or a belief that I held because I got bullied for watching anime back in the day. Maybe not necessarily bullied, but just like shunned. I didn't really have other people to talk to around it, so I just never really brought it up. Like I would bring it up in like family gatherings or like family games, and I'd be like, we'd play like this word game or something like that, and I was like, oh yeah, Tony Sharp, and they're like, who's that? And I was like, it's this anime character from this thing, and like it just didn't seem like people really resonated with it all that much, so I just kind of like shut it off and I stopped talking to it about people. Along with being in college, like I was like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go to the anime club, and then like people would make fun of me, and I didn't end up going because I was more concerned about what everybody else thought about me, so I didn't have the disciplined ability to like function with my emotions correctly, or the ability to like control my thoughts. That's taken time, that's taken action, that's taken awareness of me being able to be like, okay, what thought am I thinking right now? Okay, like let's be more disciplined and think about something else, or like change it and reframe it in a different way, like I just told you just a moment ago. And that's why, like, if you want to be able to go to the gym, the best way that I was able to do this to build up my self-discipline, instead of like having this big goal of like, okay, I want to weigh, let's say, I'll do 2 ways. So it's like you could be somebody that's overweight. It's like, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds or something like that. But it's like 50 pounds is a lot. It's like you can't just lose 50 pounds in a day, regardless of what anybody else on the internet tells you. It's just not possible. And you can't gain 50 pounds overnight naturally, like anybody else on the internet may tell you if you do ever watch like fitness content or anything like that. Like it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes years and years of work to be able to get to that place, but most people don't want to put in that work in the first place. The best way that I have been able to find my own self-discipline is asking for somebody else to like work out with me. If somebody else can't work out with me, the best way that I was able to like get going to the gym in the morning to have that discipline, because like I believe how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I would go to the gym first thing in the morning, I would leave, like prepare my clothes the night beforehand. So like I put them out by my bed, like, but not like within my reach, but I'd put them by the door along with my phone in that pile of clothes. So then my phone would go off, and I just had dinner, so I apologize for that. My phone would go off, and then all of a sudden I would have to, whenever the phone would go off at like 4:30 in the morning, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to have to get up. But I'm like, well, if the phone's going off, I got to get out of bed and I got to go. And you could be like, well, I'll just crawl right back into bed. And that's where I say, like, you getting up out of bed and like turning your light on will help you 100%. And you could be like, well, I don't want to turn on my light. But that's where like building in those small little disciplinary things throughout your day will change you. So like you will have choices every single day. You could be at work and you could be like, okay, there's donuts here, or there's me not having a donut. Like maybe you did work hard and you did go to the gym, so like, all right, I'm gonna have a donut. But then you're like, okay, well, next time if they have more donuts here, like I might not have a donut. Like you have all these choices to build your discipline, and the more you do things that are aligned with your goals that you're wanting to achieve, whatever that may be, and your goal is going to be different than my goal, and my goal is going to be different from your goal, and your goal is going to be different from your friends' goals, from your parents' goals, from your family's goals. Like your goal is tailored to you. So whatever you want, you can have. You believe in yourself enough to make it possible. And in order for you to achieve that goal, you do have to have some level of self-discipline. You have to have the discipline to at least show up in some way, to at least do something that you enjoy, to not just sit on your butt all day. Like it's okay if you want to do that from time to time, but like you do need to get up. You need to get off the phone. You need to go for a walk. Like be alone with your thoughts for a little while, because like if you can't even be alone with your thoughts, how do you expect to have the other things that you want to have? I've spent many hours, many years sitting alone by myself. I'd go on hikes, I meditate, I journal, I go to the gym and I don't put my headphones in anymore. I'll go on 2-hour, 3-hour walks without my headphones in. I haven't rode my bike all the way up to Sturgis, which if you don't know what Sturgis is, it's like a motorcycle like biking convention basically. Rode all the way up there without any music. Like I'll drive 4 or 5 hours in my car without any music. Like I spend a lot of time by myself because I genuinely love the thoughts that I have in my head. There are sometimes like, I'll probably touch on this in another video, but I might touch on it briefly. But it's not really tied with self-discipline, so I'm not really going to touch on it. But like you can control the thoughts that you want to control. You do have the ability to change your thought on a whim. Like every thought, if you don't like the thought that you're thinking, just change it. Think about something more pleasant. Reframe it in a different way. And if you've been constantly doing the same thing over and over and thinking in the same ways, you got to start to get creative. You got to start to think in different ways. You have to become something that you weren't originally. And I am always happy to help you reframe like your way of looking at the world, because I was having a conversation in the sauna tonight after I like at the gym, and one of the guys was talking about how like he wasn't able to get clients and like the managers and things weren't listening to him and they weren't having enough ideas, and he was telling me about how he's like great at selling to all these other people. And then I gave him a little bit of a reframe, and I was like, well, like you say that, like, why don't you just use the information from the book that you're just telling me about and use that same like tactics or strategies on your manager, your boss? And then like just like a little light bulb went off in his head. So I'm really good at doing these things when I hear like face to face from you, because I don't want these just to be like me as a monologue. I want these to be more as a dialogue. Like we're going back and forth, or you're just talking and I'm like, you're like, hey, how would I be able to overcome this? And I'd be like, this is what you could do, or like this is how you could reframe it a little bit differently, kind of like the self-discipline thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Like you have the self-discipline to work for 4, 8, 16, 24 hours, whatever it may be. So clearly that means that you can also work even later on something that you're passionate about as well too, and not just be consuming. You can create, you can be disciplined to go to the gym, you can be disciplined to go on walks. It's just a matter of like reframing it in a different way that'll hopefully, and I know it will because it's worked for me as well too. Like I'm recording this video in a time when I typically wouldn't record videos because I reframed the way that I look at things. Once you reframe the way that you look at things, everything else around you will change. I think I'm going to wrap that video up right here. If you made it to the end, you can subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below of something that you need help reframing, and I'll be happy to respond to that in any way that I can to give you a little bit of a different perspective. Like whatever it is that you struggle with, like you can just leave that comment down below, like I said, and then hopefully we can inspire some other people to be a little bit more disciplined themselves. So thank you for listening. I do not take it lightly, and I do appreciate you making it to the end of the video. So thank you.